On today's show, we feature the Rally Star Asia Pacific Final, the Formula Regional European Championship, and profile cross-country driver Dania Akeel in FIA Pure Motorsport. Then, the TA2 Muscle Cars rev up for round 4 of the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series from Morgan Park Raceway in Queensland. Finally, we head to Rodby, Denmark for round 4 of the FIA Karting Championship, showcasing the best up-and-coming drivers in the world. This is Speedweek.
Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we'll introduce you to cross-country driver Dania Akeel. We'll bring you some great karting action from Spain. Plus, we'll show you the FIA Rally Star Asia Pacific Final and much, much more from the world of FIA Motorsports. The FIA Rally Star is a global talent detection program organized by the FIA and its clubs. The project's main objective is to search for rising stars of tomorrow while promoting grassroots motorsport around the globe. After the finals in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, the Asia Pacific Final is the fourth of 6 FIA Rally Star Continental Finals. The Madras International Circuit in Chennai, India, welcomed 40 young drivers from 8 countries to the Asia Pacific Final.
It's really encouraging because there is a good number of young people that are pushing their way to become a rally driver.
The winner will join Estonia's Romet Jurgensen, who triumphed at the FIA Rally Star European Final, Oman's Abdullah Al-Taki, winner of the Rally Star MENA Final, and African winner Max Smart to participate in the FIA Rally Star training season, where he will move a step closer to a possible dream drive in the FIA Junior World Rally Championship. The top female competitor qualifies for the FIA Rally Star Women's Final in Italy.
Personally, I think it's the greatest thing that we've got. It's an incentive scheme that has been developed by the FIA. A, a privilege. B, it's an eye-opener to see the local talent from 10 other countries. C, to have a scholarship program where you get 6 rallies to drive, in next year for the winners, is something that I think is very special for me.
3 days of intense competition and testing awaited the young drivers, including a rigorous physical test followed by the opportunity to showcase their skills behind the wheel of a Pirelli-equipped TN5 cross car belonging to the Life Live organization of FIA World Rally Champion Thierry Neuville.
Yeah, DSN did a great job to select their best candidates, and we saw yesterday from the first stage that we had a high level of competition, and it's getting better and better. We had some ISNs dedicated on digital motorsport, some doing some slalom selections, but we see that the level is very close between all these young people.
What I've seen today is a fantastic combination of enthusiasm and performance. We've seen some incredible drives from drivers today, and I think not only have we got good winners, but we've also seen some incredible drivers who've supported those winners and will go on to also compete themselves at a high level internationally around the world.
After taking to a 3.7-kilometer long stage featuring gravel and asphalt sections, the drivers took part in a series of reflex tests before being interviewed by a 5-person jury.
It's a mix of skills, it's a mix of preparation, it's a mix of how able you are to learn and to implement some tips you are given about driving. It's about your physical preparation, it's about your reflex, it's a full package. We also do interviews with the driver to know about their motivation, to know about their background and how much knowledge they have about motorsport and what they're getting into.
The winner of each continental final can look forward to 6 rallies in an M Sport Ford Fiesta Rally 3 during the FIA Rally Star training season. The FIA Rally Star training season package includes physical and intellectual assessment, driver coaching, and testing. The aim is to equip the successful contestants with the attributes they need as they attempt to secure a drive in an FIA World Rally Championship in the future. Indeed, the 4 best performing drivers in the FIA Rally Star training season will win an FIA Junior World Rally Championship drive in 2024, the first step on the ladder to the top level, hybrid-based Rally 1 category.
Using the cross car as a grassroots level for developing potential and talented rally drivers is a fantastic concept. You know, everywhere you do need some aspiration level, you do need icons for the sport to grow at large, and then you do need opportunities to be created and opportunities be, given to people to see, okay, that there is something there to look forward to, and that's how you get more and more people interested.
In the women's event, 25-year-old Pragati Gowda from India came out on top.
This was surprising, trust me. I never knew that I'm going to make it through because there are strong girls out there. So the second thing was I told myself that no matter what happens, I'm not going to give up and I'm going to just do my best. First day I came in, I wasn't much confident because cross karts I'm driving for the first time. And as the day passed, I'm like, okay, I got better grip and I got to know how to handle the car. And I went good terms with the car. So I think we gelled well. Big thanks to FIA Rally Star for organizing this in my home country.
And 18-year-old Taylor Gill from Australia was crowned FIA Rally Star Asia Pacific final winner.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of pressure, especially having to go out and do another run today was, you thought, oh, far out, I better, can't make any mistakes. So that's what I just try to do, to stay clean, and yeah, just super happy, so wrapped. Yeah, it's a life-changing moment.
Karting has almost as rich a history as Formula One, and 18 of the current Grand Prix drivers raced in this very paddock at least once. The sport is just as technical and physically demanding and can be just as dramatic. OK and Junior are direct drive categories, and the karts use 125 direct-coupled, water-cooled two-stroke engines and are limited to 14,000 revolutions per minute in Junior and 16,000 revolutions per minute in OK. Drivers are aged from 12 to 14 in the Junior category and 14 and over in OK. The only significant difference between the two classes, other than the age of the drivers and the power limit of the kart, is that the weight limit in OK is 10 kilograms heavier and that the senior class kart has a power valve at the exhaust. Junior drivers use hard compound tires and seniors use medium, with only 3 front and 3 rear tires permitted per driver from the beginning of timed qualifying to the end of the superheat, with a new fresh set only provided for the final. For 2023, there is also an all-new biofuel from P1 Fuels to make karting more eco-friendly in the modern era. The next step is KZ, which has been the gearbox formula in karting since 2007, and the difference between KZ and KZ2 is very small, with KZ2 being only 5 kilograms heavier, and with KZ having more freedom to develop new components. Both karts utilize a 6-speed gearbox which can generate 46 to 50 brake horsepower, which may not sound like much until you consider that the driver is only a couple of millimeters off the ground and will regularly experience 2G in the corners. Formula One world champion Max Verstappen won both the European and World KZ title in 2013, and current Formula One stars are occasionally seen testing these karts as they provide the closest experience to Grand Prix cars for physicality, focus, and racecraft. Held across only 2 weekends, the European Championship is very hard to win, and mistakes and bad luck are punished severely in equal measure. Indeed, in KZ2, no champion has ever successfully defended a European title, whereas only 2 men have ever done so in KZ. In the tent, the mechanics are really earning their pay, as there are just as many components on a KZ racer as you'll find in Grand Prix, and it's the work done behind the scenes that really makes the difference. On track, the racing can be ferocious and really depends on a good attitude and disciplined approach, as winning here makes you one of the best racing drivers on the planet. "88 competitors enter the weekend in KZ2, but only 36 remain at the start of the final. The general consensus is clear. 2023 looks like the most competitive KZ2 lineup for many years, and with novices as quick as the veterans, it's going to be a tough call. As the field launches away from the grid, it's Slater who beats the poleman Vasile to the turn one. Maciej climbs into third position, with Thomas Stolzer-Minus also having a great debut in P4. But his best comes later around the opening lap as the Latvian pulls out the overtake move of the weekend around the outside of Maciej at turn 7. An audacious and sensational piece of driving. It spooks Maciej so much that Matteo Spirgal, Alex Powell, and Jorge Pescador also move ahead of the baffled Spaniard. At 1/3 distance, Slater returns to the lead once again as the young Englishman continues his amazing performance in his first FIA weekend in gearbox. Vasile has to work hard to keep Stolzer-Minus behind him. That's the only invitation Alex Powell requires to seize the chance to make a stunning overtake himself, moving the Mercedes F1 Junior into third. Powell closes right up on the back bumper of Vasile, but the Romanian isn't going to be an easy driver to pass. However, the boy born in Miami is clearly ready to take prisoners, and when you leave a gap, Powell will definitely go for the move. Powell's come into the weekend with a simple objective: learn about the craft of gearbox racing. But now both he and Slater are rookie drivers in sight of a victory, so who would be able to outpace the other and clinch the win? Vasile still in third, but Nakamura Berta has now climbed up to fourth. On lap 12, Powell sees the best chance he's ever going to be given and snatches the lead of the race away from Freddie Slater. With 7 laps to go, it's now the Jamaicans to lose. Nakamura Berta moves ahead of Vasile with a clinical move at turn 2. But Nakamura Berta is taken completely by surprise when Pescador nips ahead. Slater is now defending for dear life as the following 6 karts all do what they can to take advantage of the situation. Pescador makes a bold attempt to pass Slater for second position, but the British driver refuses to give away and holds on to second. Stolzer-Minus tries another audacious move around the outside, but this time it will not gain him any spots. Heading into the final lap, and Powell has done enough to pull away thanks to his speed, and his rivals continue dueling. Pescador has picked up a second warning flag for his urgency. One more and there would be real trouble. The only man who can really make a move on the final lap is Vasile, and not only does it fail, but it drops him behind the Frenchman Matteo Spirgal. Slater is now relatively safe in second, with Pescador resigned to be content with third. But as debuts go, nobody has been impressive for years, as has Powell this weekend. From 5th to 1st on his debut, having been fastest in the group in qualifying too. It is quite a spectacular performance from Alex Powell. He wins the first race of the season, Freddie Slater finishes second, and Jorge Pescador also makes it onto the podium. The Champion of Champions race, Formula One without the money. Whatever you call KZ, there's no doubt that it's high stakes, high pressure, and high velocity. Across the qualifying heats, there were 3 different winners from 3 different squads. Tom Luyer from Tony Kart, Senna van Wallstein from Sodi Kart, and Danilo Albanese from Kart Republic. As Van Wallstein crept off the line, Iglesias nails the start and is joined by Dana and the fast-starting Matteo Vegano through the first bend, leaving the rest of the field to do the best they can around the opening lap. After a calm start to the weekend, Vegano has clearly saved his best work for last as he moves ahead of Denner for second place. This clearly isn't the plan for Emilian Denner, so he attempts to take the place back immediately, but Vegano is wise to the move. Van Wallstein elects to make a bold move on his teammate Denner, and with such a gamble comes such a risky outcome. Fortunately, he makes it, and Albanese joins him in 4th position. Jeremy Iglesias in the lead is set for a perfect start to the 2023 season. In fact, the top 5 look relatively secure, with Vegano ahead of Van Wallstein, Denner, and Camplese. The Saudi karts are pushing each other and trading sector times, with both men eager to reach the rostrum after a very tough race weekend. But Iglesias is uncatchable. Dana briefly moves ahead, but Camplese manages to reel in the Saudi kart twins in the closing stages to give them a nasty scare for the final lap, with Dana having to do all the hard work to keep the Tony Kart factory star at bay, which he eventually fails to accomplish. But the Frenchman up front has been fantastic from lights out to flag down, and Jeremy Iglesias completes the dominant race win with an immaculate and textbook display. Italian Matteo Vigano quietly grabs a smooth second place ahead of Senna van Waalstein. In Imola, more than 30 drivers from 12 teams started the new season of the Formula Regional European Championship. In the first of two races, Norwegian Martinius Stenshorn made Formula Regional history. He was the first rookie to start from pole position in the first race of the season. The 17-year-old made a great start and drove from pole to the checkered flag without taking any special risks and unchallenged in the lead. The first ever victory by a Norwegian driver. Behind Stenshorn, the Prema teammates fought for second and third place. Andrea Kimi Antonelli defended the second step of the podium, Rafael Camara close in third. The first race of the year finished earlier than expected. A red flag was deployed with less than 4 minutes left on the clock. The second race of the weekend in Italy was a fantastic show. Kaz Havercourt took the lead from Tim Tramnitz at the start in the first row. Behind the duo, the battle in the group breaks out, and Rafael Camara ran into the wall and was out of the race after contact with Joshua Dufek, which eliminates both drivers. Race 1 winner Martinius Stenshorn took his chance shortly after the restart and gained his P2 with a perfect maneuver on Bora. But Kaz Havercourt again showed his control over the race by not jeopardizing his dominance and final arriving order. Behind the Dutchman saw Stenshorn in P2 and Bora completing the podium in P3. Round 2 of the Formula Regional European Championship will be in Barcelona. The Oeiras Eco Rally Cup in Portugal, round 4 of the all-electric 2023 Bridgestone FIA Eco Rally Cup, was claimed by Czech pairing Michael Starsky and Jakub Nabelek in their Hyundai Kona after an exciting 2 days of emission-free competition and catapulting them into the series lead. Despite not enjoying a home ground advantage, the Czech motoring journalist and his co-driver prevailed over a strong Portuguese contingent, with other entries coming from France, Spain, and Romania in a 24-strong entry list. A 1-2 for Hyundai was completed when local crew Pedro Moraes and Silvia Coutinho took their Hyundai Ioniq into second place, while the podium was completed by the Kia e-Niro of fellow Portuguese crew Nuno Serrano and Alexandra Berardo. Dania Akeel is not your typical motorsports athlete. The 34-year-old grew up in Saudi Arabia. She's got a bachelor's degree in modern history and politics and a master's degree in international business. She's a motivational speaker and a book author, but from an early age she's been fascinated by everything that had 2 or more wheels, and she's always been very fast.
I remember that I was always active. You know, I was always wanted to do things, and I wanted to do things fast, quickly.
During her time at university in London, she got her UK driving license at 17, when women were still unable to drive in Saudi Arabia.
I love riding bikes and I love driving cars, but what I love so much about competition and races is that it gives you a space to get from A to B. It gives you a goal, it gives you a plan, it gives you a structure. I mean, I used to take my bike out in the morning before work and just go for a ride, have breakfast. But with competition, you have goals, you have strategy, you have teamwork, you have steps you need to take. And I like that. I like that challenge. I like having that end game. And that's what racing does for me.
While she was working for a company in Dubai, Dania decided to take on a challenge.
It was 2019, a year after women were allowed to drive, and they said, if you pass the exams, we will issue you a Saudi racing license. And that was the first license they issued for racing for a female, Saudi female in sports bikes, Super Series. So I did it. I joined the local cup and I went for the Rookie of the Year award. That was my goal. I was able to get it. I was very happy. And then from there, you know, Saudi began hosting the Dakar rally. So that's how I kind of ended up in cross country.
Dania Akeel moved to the rally racing world and became the first Saudi female to participate in the international rally competition. She competes in the T3 category for lightweight prototype cross-country vehicles. Growing up in Saudi Arabia turns out to be a great advantage.
Being in the outdoors just connects you to that sort of natural, you start to understand the language of the terrain. Actually, you know, a lot of times when I was on the dunes, it reminded me of snowboarding in the snow. So the years I spent on a snowboard made me understand the peaks and troughs of the mountains, and I saw those in the dunes, and it helped me figure out how to surf the sand.
Dania is riding the perfect wave to success. In 2021, she not only won 2 events of the FIA World Cup for cross-country Bajas, but with further good results, she can take, as the first Saudi Arabian woman, the title in the T3 category, a success that she confirmed in 2022 with 2nd place in the overall rankings. In both years, she also fulfills her big dream of participating in the Dakar Rally in her home country.
I just do what I love, and I hope to progress, and I hope to set an example of just wanting to improve. You know, it's one life. You can use it however you like, and I would really love to use it in a good way for myself and others. And if that inspires anybody, I hope I'm doing the right things. But the important thing is to enjoy what you do while you do it. Enjoy the steps, appreciate the humanity, you know, celebrate the progress, and just recognize that there's always room to grow, but just appreciate and enjoy what you do while you do it.
And that is exactly what Dania Akeel is doing and will hopefully be successful with for a long time to come. The Qatar International Baja is the 2nd round of the FIA World Cup for cross-country Bajas. The 3-day event has a record number of entries and a great strength across all different categories. Competitors come from a staggering 31 nations and are spread across 44 cars in the FIA category. The big favorite is the local hero Nasser Al-Attiyah with his co-driver Mathieu Baumel. But after they damaged their Toyota Hilux in a spectacular crash at the World Cup opener, the Toyota Gazoo team has to start in a borrowed car that was quickly flown in from Portugal. Their biggest rival is Polish driver Krzysztof Holowicz in his Mini JCW Rally Plus.
The terrain is very rough, very rocky, so difficult for the car, difficult for the mechanic, and also for sure difficult for driver and co-driver because there is many pieces here, many junctions, and the road book and the navigation is very difficult.
But the 4-time Qatar Baja champion has a great start and records the fastest time on the opening prologue stage. Al-Attiyah and his regular co-driver Mathieu Baumel card a time of 5 minutes 49.5 seconds in their Toyota Hilux and lead by 4.8 seconds from the Polish duo of Krzysztof Holowicz and Łukasz Korzeja in their Mini JCW Rally Plus. Denis Krotov and Konstantin Ziltsov are 3rd in the Overdrive Racing Toyota. The second part of Leg 1 runs through the Qatar desert for 234 kilometers and is split into 3 sections of 117, 46, and 70 kilometers on Friday morning. Nasser Al-Attiyah and co-driver Mathieu Baumel lost the lead to Polish rivals Krzysztof Holowicz and Łukasz Korzeja on the longer first stage. The reigning champion made 2 mistakes that cost him 10 minutes. But on the next 2 sections, the Qatari pushes his Toyota GR-DKR Hilux to set the fastest time to lead by 2 minutes 33 seconds at the end of the day. The defending champions now head into the final day with a slim cushion over their teammates Denis Krotov and Konstantin Ziltsov, who hold 2nd place in their Overdrive Racing Toyota Hilux, despite 2 flat tires. Polish driver Krzysztof Holowicz and co-pilot Łukasz Korzeja have to stop in the 2nd stage of the day with cooling issues on their Mini JCW Rally Plus. That opens the door for Guoyu Zhang and Oriol Mania to climb into third place despite one flat tire. On the final day, participants will have to complete 225 kilometers divided into 4 sections. Nasser Al-Attiyah and co-driver Mathieu Boimel control proceedings through the demanding last stage to take the day's win. That's enough for the Qatari to finish 16 minutes 21 seconds ahead of his Overdrive Racing teammates Denis Krotov and Konstantin Ziltsov in their Toyota Hilux. Krotov has to stop after 35 kilometers and change the tires. After that, he loses a little power and doesn't have a lot of speed because one turbo is not working. At the end of the day, they are happy to defend second place. Chinese driver Guoyu Zhang and his Spanish co-driver Oriol Mania in their Biatch ORC BJ40 have a great second day. They complete the final day with the second best time. That's enough to finish the Baja Qatar on the podium in third position. Despite being in a borrowed car, Nasser Al-Attiyah and Mathieu Boimel are untouchable on the final day. The winning team from last year makes no mistakes, wins the last stage uncontested, and drives safely to first place in the overall standings.
I'm really happy, to win here in Qatar, Baja, and this is an amazing win. Thank you so much.
Nasser Al-Attiyah wins his home Baja for the 5th time. In the end, the Qatari and his co-driver Mathieu Boimel have a huge lead of 16 minutes 21 seconds over Denis Krotov and co-driver Konstantin Ziltsov, in second place ahead of China's Guoyu Zhang and his Spanish co-driver Oriol Mania. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we'll present you some promising racing drivers with famous fathers. We'll show you the opening of the FIA European Autocross season, and we'll check out some great truck racing. Till next time, take care, everybody, and ciao.
Well, welcome here to round number 4 of the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series. We're 2 hours west out of Brisbane at Morgan Park Raceway, just outside of Warwick. I'm Matt Kavanagh. Stephen White joining me. A fantastic round, and what a facility this is.
Yeah, magnificent, Matty. Fantastic track. When you look at it, you think, gee, is it going to be tight? But gee, it's a fast little racetrack, and some of these guys, particularly our TA2 guys, are finding that out really quickly.
Mate, there's been some fantastic racing already this weekend. Of course, we've got 7 categories here and over 130 entrants. Can you believe it?
Yeah, amazing. The Queensland motorsport, if you like, the public and certainly the competitors, is a magnificent group, and they're so keen to do some motorsport. So when, we've obviously put the lifeline out and said, well, we're going to run the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series here at Morgan Park, and they all came running, so fantastic. Yeah.
No surprise, we're kicking it off with the TA2 Muscle Cars framed by Hi-Tec Steel Framing, about to come out on track. You can see them lined up behind us. Race number 3, it's going to be super exciting, of course. 20 laps for the TA2 Muscle Car, and another person who gets very excited about it is Wade Ornger. Let's get up to him right now.
There is absolutely so much to love about this class. Let's take a look at the Hi-Tec Oils highlights from our previous race. And very tight start. Josh Haynes was the man who edged into the race lead with Jackson Rice right there with him. But wasn't long until Rice put the pressure on and was able to slip through to the lead after Haynes made a rare mistake and got into the bush. This battle here, though, you had Brad Gardner, Josh Haynes, and Dylan Thomas. And this is where it became a bare-knuckle pub brawl between Gardner and Dylan Thomas in that CXC Mustang. Thomas tried many times to fire up the inside on the South Aussie. And in the end, he thought, you know what, the inside doesn't seem to be working. I'll have to try something different. Matt McKeldin took the Kubota Tractors Stellatech entry off the racetrack, birthday boy. This is the pass by Thomas on the outside. And here's a look at what all the action looked like from the inside. It's been such a great championship so far. This is the 7 car of Jackson Rice. Tremendous racing everywhere you care to look. And, ooh, a little bit of contact. So it's been going on everywhere you care to look. And that's kind of what we love about this style of racing. This guy here, Jackson Rice, was phenomenal in that Dream Racing Australia entry. Nice drive from Josh Haynes in second. And Brad Gardner, what a comeback here. Pulls off a Lazarus. Massive comeback. And takes the third spot away from Dylan Thomas. Great aerial shot. So this tremendous venue, it really has surprised me. First time for me here at the Morgan Park Raceway, nearby beautiful Warwick in Queensland. And the circuit has really surprised a lot of these drivers that have never been here before, and those that have were looking forward to coming back and being a part of it. There's some really great late braking opportunities, as Ian Luff would always say, the last of the late breakers. And there's tremendous competition right across the casters here, that is for sure. There's plenty ahead. We can't wait to get the TA2 Muscle Cars Series, framed by Hi-Tec, on track very shortly.
Tough start to the 2023 season of the TA2 Muscle Cars, framed by Hi-Tec steel framing. From Brad Gardner, you've had a couple of incidents, but the car's back.
Yeah, the car's back, thanks to everyone at Hi-Tec Oil Super Series and TA2 Racing Australia, and everyone getting behind me. And we've got some awesome new partners on board, so yeah, can't wait to get out there and yeah, just keep pushing.
Big accident there at Queensland Raceway in round number 3. What was some of the damage done to the car?
So a lot of cosmetic stuff. Yeah, moved the motor off the engine mounts and snapped all them. So massive job by PBR, like Cam, Benny, Mark, and the whole team. And
a lot of the fans at home saw that. It was over 200 kilometres an hour. The car went backwards into a tyre barrier. How did you come out of that, and how do you feel?
I was pretty shaken up, to be honest. You know, I had like Thomas Randall and Marcus Ambrose and a few guys message me and just reminding me that it's the worst feeling that a race car driver will ever feel. So yeah, just pushed on, and I was pretty nervous up until getting in the car yesterday. So really stoked now to be in it.
You're having PBR distributors now as part of your team. It's got to give you some confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Knowing that they've spun the spanners on it, and you know, everything's in the factory, it's the best parts. They look after them well, and Cam, he knows the TA2 car inside out. He eats, sleeps, and breathes them. So it's really good. Peace of mind for us, peace of mind for the sponsors, and it's good.
Damage like that always hits the budget a little bit. You got some support for this round?
Yeah, so that was hard. If anything, we were going to call the season quits, or at least this one, and bounce back. But thanks to everyone at Hi-Tec Oil Super Series, got behind me, and we got Australian Tarmac Rally and Mountain Motorsports, and just a heap of good people, a heap of local sponsors from down home. So can't thank them enough.
What we really want to know is it true? Can we announce it here at the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series? Are you on the next season of Farmer Wants a Wife?
Oh, yeah, nah, definitely not. Nah, my brother actually got asked, so I might have to take it off him.
Oh, look at that. That will be enough to get you moving in places you didn't know you had. It'll warm the cockles of your heart. Matt Kevinar, we are here at the beautiful Morgan Park Raceway, and it is coming up on race 3 of round 4 of the TA2 Muscle Car Series, framed by Hi-Tec steel frames. Good field on the grid. No Rob Leonard, unfortunately. Rob may have hurt the motor in the beautifully turned out number 40 car. Slow down. Be aware of workers' entry. Unfortunately, will be a spectator. Here's our grid. Matty Cav, Jackson Rice and Josh Haynes, Brad Gardner and Dylan Thomas.
Then we go back to Graham Cheney and Mark Crusher on the third row of the grid. Rusty Wright and Zach LaCharpa will face up against each other. And it's Nick Bates fighting back through the pack with Greg Keem on row number 5.
Birthday boy Matt McKeldin will start out of 11. Hayden Jackson got a flat tyre. So too did Matt McKeldin. So that's why they had issues. You then have Greg Keem out of Gunnedah and Paul Hadley out of Dapto, the old Dapto Dogs. Who remembers the days when NRL Larrikin, Terry Hill used to do the golden jacket stuff on the footy show from the Dapto Dogs? Oh, it's great there. Matty Cavan, Wade Ornger joining you for race 3. We have 2 races to go. Welcome to you wherever you might be watching this fabulous category. Look at that. Slow for the moment, a rolling start. Dana Bullock behind the wheel of the Hi-Tec steel frames pace truck. And it is Albury Wodonga up against Canberra ACT. Jackson Rice and Josh Haynes. There is Hadley out of Dapto. You've got Graham Cheney out of Bathurst, his team car. We're waiting for those lights to go out. Cracking winter's afternoon, and we are away and racing. Race number 3, you can see that, oh, Haynes, geez, could he make that stick? There was definitely contact between them. Yes, well, unfortunately, the squeeze effect. Jackson Rice, your leader. Looks like Graham Cheney got a good start there, Matt.
Yeah, managed to get the move done on Dylan Thomas. He won't be happy about that. He managed to get relegated to 4th position last race. And look at Crutcher on the outside there. They're all backed up as well, as it looked like he, with Rusty Wright, almost might be getting into this mix as well, right behind Dylan Thomas. Crutcher still with the advantage now and will remain in that 6th position. But look at Rusty Wright, Zach Lachaupo down the outside. Is that Keane? Contact made between Lachaupo and Keane.
Wow, Keane in the De Beers refinish entry got into the side of Zach Lachaupo. In the Tempest Solutions entry, just saw Hayden Jackson and Matt McKeldin nearly get together as well. Wow, look at this battle. Dylan Thomas all over the back of Graham Cheney. It's a tremendous battle between Thomas and Gardner early. Jackson Rice is now close to within 7 points of the championship leader, Dylan Thomas, and this would further cement his charge through the order. We've got the Willwood Big Breaker Award to come as well. The Hypercoil Hard Charger Award is Thomas. Yes, on the inside of Cheney, squirming under load with those big Willwood brakes on the Hoosier tyres. And he makes a nice pass through. I'm going to say good day to one of my best mates, Heath McCallum, tuned in and watching from down in Melbourne, along with his beautiful daughter, Emmy, and all the team. Heath, you got this, buddy. We're right behind you, mate. Just watching Jackson on the outside now of Bates as well. Hasn't been the best of starts for Nick Bates this weekend. We know he's capable of a lot better. He just hasn't had a good run so far.
Yeah, got pushed down after race number 1 with a little incident there. Had to start off the back of the pack in race number 2 this morning there, but he's working his way back through. But he's going to have to watch out because with Hayden Jackson, who cut a tyre in the last race, starting out behind him, he is going to push through because we've seen him in a lot of top 5 finishes, Hayden Jackson. So expect to see him push on from here as well and really put the pressure on Nick Bates. That might slow them down a little bit. I really like Mark Crutcher. Looks like he might have got past Graham Cheney already as well. How good is that from Mark Crutcher? Is when Jordan Cox down there again from Jordan Cox Motorsport, helping him out, setting up the car, and I think he's given a little bit of driver coaching there.
You, to your point earlier, just watching Dylan Thomas really charging in there, but Hayden Jackson's actually done testing here a few weeks back at this circuit. As we look at the Beaches Sea-Doo entry out of Canberra, the teenage rager Josh Haynes. Then you go back to Gardner, Thomas, Crutcher, Cheney, Rusty Wright, Zach Lachaupo, Greg Keane, Nicholas Bates now into the top 10. And you also think that the guys that had trouble in their previous races will have fresher tyres as we get to the end of this particular weekend. You get 6 tyres in total, 2 from a previous round and 4 newbies as we take this drone shot from high above the racetrack. Wicked battle coming here. I think Haynes is making some ground on Jackson Rice.
Last time around, it was 300ths of a second that last lap where Josh Haynes just had a small advantage over Jackson Rice. Quite sure it's just leaving a little bit in the bag. It's now down to less than 1 second, the gap between them. And Josh Haynes, we're looking to fight back in this. He was our #1 qualifier. He went to the top 8 shootout, won that as well. So you think he'd have the paces all, using a lot of curve there from Jackson Rice. I think from various other categories as well, that's where we're seeing the cut tyres.
I think you're exactly right, Matt. That's the not just the tyres, but rims, and that is really hard on the suspension as well. PWR Pole Award, as you rightly said, went to Haynes in that gorgeous bright green 37. He's a neat little battle pack. They're all lined up. There is Zach Lachaupo, the Tempest Solutions Camaro, and he is right in behind Rusty Wright in the crew commercial entry. This corner here, deceiving how hard you have to really measure the car's balance through there. You can't just blaze through there. You could end up into the concrete on the other side. Bates in the very clean number 24. That company is actually his son's cleaning company, Sam. So sounds like something you'd say to your teenager. Hope your bedroom is very clean. And I think that's the way it sort of all worked out. Isn't the De Beer refinish entry gorgeous? I wonder if that's a possible Bowden's own best presented recipient this weekend.
Definitely on the list, I do believe. Greg Keem and the team there, they always bring out a gorgeous car when it comes to race. We saw it up in QR as well. And Rice still leading this race, though. As you can see, the pack going around turns number 9 and down into 10, where it's a hard braking. You're really on the edge of the tyre through 9 at full pace, and as they come out of 10, they head up to this little zigzag in the track there. And Mark Crutcher still holding off Greg Cheney at this point. Now, Jackson Rice and Josh Haynes have just gone through for another lap. Oh, it's gone out by a couple of hundredths of a second. The advantage has gone to Rice there, so just maintaining that gap at the moment. I'll be interested to see how they manage the tyres, these two, because with only 8 laps remaining, it's not a huge race.
No.
We do see the change in the characteristics of the car as those tyres heat up and they start to wear down.
Now let's look at what happens here. Faded to the outside. He just, I think, got on the hammer a little too hard to try and pull the thing up, and it's understandable because it would have been under load big time, Matt.
Yeah, LaChavo in the background nearly did the same thing as well. You can see that moving around.
I was worried about that one, to be honest.
It's great to see no contact made throughout that, though. So that is just, unfortunately, an error there from Rusty. But look, he'll rejoin the race and try and work his way back into this pack. Nick Bates all over the back of Hayden Jackson now. Look at the very clean 24. Trying to make another position up. Mark Crutcher still holding out Greg Cheney and Zach LaChaupo. Keem sort of got his own little gap out there at the moment now, and as this battle heats up between Hayden Jackson and Nick Bates, that means they slow down just a little bit in the lap times. You get that extra couple of tenths a second.
Rice, Haynes, Gardner, Thomas. You're watching Graham Cheney on screen. His lovely wife Karen is normally here with him, along with his daughter Jazz. But Jazz is playing netball in Forbes, which leaves it up to just the young bloke who's doing a good job in the Hyundai Series as well. So the Cheney family immersed in motocross, also in TA2 and in Hyundai Series action as well, Excel Series. As we take a look at your leader, doing a nice job, but he's still got Haynes right there. Radio Industries on board with Jackson Rice, brand new sponsor out of Morisset in New South Wales, radioindustries.com.au. They're official communication radio partners with Dream Racing. They do Delta radios and Bravo headsets, and they have a really cool connection with the Jackson Rice family, and doing an excellent job on the lead at the moment. But Haynes is lurking, Matt. I think there's a chance here if he can just get a bit of a run and put some more pressure on Jackson.
He's been hovering around that 0.7 of a second now as he's just trying to claw back that gap as we see Rice just slide the car out at 12, and maybe you'll get a little bit of a run onto the straight here for Josh Haynes, and we see it go down to 0.71 of a second. It's hundreds of a second now every time they go around. Crutch turned the car around.
Now, oh wow, did you see Bates absolutely fill?
He'll need his son's cleaning service now.
Oh, that's not very clean anymore, is it? Wow. Don't know what happened with Crutcher. We'll try and find out whether there was some sort of contact, whether he turned it around. We sometimes see the forecar pointing in the direction from whence it came. I'm not sure whether we can apportion any blame until we get a better look at it. Great shot here. So we work that right-handed sweep up. Haynes desperately trying to make some ground on Jackson Rice. I love that corner. That sweeping corner over the top. And a lot of these parts of the racetrack are actually blind crests, Matt. They kind of remind me a little bit of back in the day of the great Amaroo Park, the legendary Amaroo Park. And fun fact about that place, our tyre supplier, Max Dumpney's property, actually backs onto the lower loop of what used to be the old Amaroo Park Raceway.
Josh Haynes, something happened to him too, because he's got a lot of rocks coming out the back of that car now, and he is slowing down. Jackson Rice is now streaking away. Look at the gap as it opens up. I'll go past our timing markers on the finish line here, and we'll get a true indication. That's gone out to 4.7, so 4-second loss. Something has happened. Has he done something to the tyres as well? Because we've seen it from some of the other drivers, not just in the TA2 muscle car, but the other categories. Look at the amount of grass. He's had a little excursion off, and we saw that earlier where he made that mistake in race number 2 this morning.
Here's a bit of a Hi-Tec Oils replay, and we'll see it. You know, I'm wondering about the left front corner, the tyre in the left front corner then, because same thing, the car was laid right over. It almost didn't even really look like turning right. This guy, however, has hardly put a wheel wrong. Jackson Rice, the Dream Racing entry. We're on to our final lap. His lead is blown out to 4.7 seconds over Josh Haynes. Brad Gardner in third. Dylan Thomas in fourth. Graham Cheney, Zach LeChalpo up to sixth. Greg Keane looking at a personal best of seventh out of Gunnedah in the De Beers refinish entry. Hayden Jackson up to eighth now. And Nicholas Bates will be cleaning a lot of kitty litter out of that car, unfortunately.
Look, Jackson Rice clawing back that small lead that Dylan Thomas had in the championship coming into this race. You never know after this weekend as he takes a checkered flag and gets himself a third race win now. What will the championship look like after this? Oh, here we go at the end. Dylan Thomas going to have a go at Brad Gardner, but he covers him off and he might hold him out. Josh Haynes is hurt.
Now, is it that left front corner on that car? Because to me, when we saw that right-handed corner, Matt, it just went straight ahead. It really didn't look like turning in. That may indicate a flat left front tyre. And when you saw that car kind of crab walking a bit, oh, Hayden Jackson coming at Keane. I think Keane will just hold on for seventh. But you're right, didn't Dylan Thomas get a run on Brad Gardner then? And they both closed in on Josh Haynes. You can see Bates limping home. Been a frustrating weekend so far for the very clean Mustang of Nicholas Bates. He finishes back in 11th. There's Matt McKeldin in 12th. And Paul Hadley. So Rice, Haynes, Gardner. I'm interested to find out what is the go. Just look at the way that thing's not even turning.
Yeah, he's got a flat tyre.
Yes. Every now and again I get it right, Matt. Not very often, but every now and again I get it right. You could just see that that car is laid right over on the left front corner. And when it went into that right-hand sweeper, he just had no real purchase at all when the weight was transferred to that left front. Rice wins by 10 seconds in the end over Josh Haynes, Brad Gardner, Dylan Thomas, Graham Cheney in top five.
Yeah, Zach LeChalpo works his way up to the sixth. Greg Keane and Hayden Jackson 4 down over the line, but Greg Keane got there in seventh, and it was Rusty Wright, Mark Crutcher after that spin. Rounds out your top 10, then it goes back to Nick Bates, who unfortunately had that excursion off the track there, and now he's got a bit of cleaning to do. Paul Hadley in 12th, and Matty McKeldin comes through a lap down, so we did see him maybe take a little bit of a journey through pit lane there, but in 13th position. Unfortunately, Rob Leonard. A couple of issues there, did not make it out, did not start.
Suspected blown engine. Let's hope that's not the case for the very likeable Rob Leonard. Matt McKeldin had all of the candles blown out on the birthday cake earlier today. Let's hope he can recover in our fourth and final race, which is going to be somewhat of an enduro. Great drone shots here in regional Queensland, Warwick, and this amazing Morgan Park Raceway. Let's check out your Hi-Tec Oils race highlights right now. And there was a little bit of bump and run here in turn one, a little bit of contact just there.
Yeah, Josh Haynes tried to close the door, didn't he? He was really pushing hard on the outside. He knew he had to make it off the start, and he put everything into it. But Jackson Rice, he's got a lot of experience behind the race car, and he's been doing so many laps recently.
Yeah, Josh tried to close the door, and Jackson had his foot in the hinge, so it was never going to get to be able to close the door entirely. So battles were on everywhere. Tyre smoke was from Rusty, and then we had this incident here where Rusty locked up the 55 after trying to get back by Crutcher. What we don't know is what happened to Mark Crutcher. We know he spun, but I don't think we saw why. Graham Cheney was particularly consistent, and so too, all on his own. Boy, if I had $1 for every time I'd seen Mark Crutcher do that, I'd have at least $5. And look at Nicholas Bates.
He's just trying to avoid contact there, unfortunately. You see him get on the brakes, go out wide. This was the big moment, though. Chasing him down, and it looks like that front left has gone flat on him. You can even see there's not the big black donut. There's, a little bit deflated.
Well, great win, wasn't it, in the end? Jackson Rice was unstoppable. Long way back to second where Haynes limped home, and then you had Gardner and Thomas getting after it. Matty Cav, looking forward to seeing you in our fourth and final race later on today as we head down to the pits with Whitey.
Thanks, Wade. Very happy. Brad Gardner. Brad, third again. Well done.
Yeah, it was hard to hold him off, but he was coming. Thought we were going to get second there for a second, but no, awesome. So glad to be third again.
And the car was consistent then, as you were dealing with, obviously, Dylan coming along. You were obviously consistent in being able to hold him off.
Yeah, the car was extremely consistent. Made a bit of a mistake out of 3, and we were lucky enough to hang on to it. But, just can't thank Benny and Cam enough. Like, the car's, from what it was yesterday, we've got a much faster race car, so I'm really, really grateful.
Well, mate, well done. Great confidence build. I do have Josh Haynes with me. Poor old Josh. And I say old, he's only a young fella, but we've got a puncture there, Josh. Was there some other issue or just a puncture? Just what happened?
Nah, just a puncture. Far out, I was slowly closing in Ricey at the end there, and probably last 3 or so laps, I was like, why have I got so much push? Maybe the tyres have fallen over, and then, yeah, we were getting so close, and then down the back there, it literally let go through the sweeper. So unlucky, but I'm honestly very lucky to have even got it back on the track, let alone come second. So super happy. The team's done a mega job, and we'll come out strong for the 20-lapper.
Good on you, Josh. Thanks again.
See you, dude.
Good on you, mate. Thank you. And we'll go over to Mr. Consistent at the minute, Jackson Rice. Well done, Jackson. Fantastic effort and a great race win there. Josh was closing in, as he said, but certainly there was a nice little gap for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Josh was putting the pressure on. I was just really trying to focus on just zero mistakes, like just so hard. Credit to Josh. He had the pressure on me, but good to bring the Radio Industries number 7 home in first place again.
Now we're looking for the final.
Yeah, looking good. Look, car feels good. A little bit of tuning up. I'm struggling a little bit through the midfield, but we'll sort that and we'll come back bigger and better in the next one.
Good on you. Well done. See you in the final.
Thank you.
Well, there he is, our race number 3 winner from the TA2 Muscle Cars Series, framed by Hi-Tec, still framing here in the Hi-Tec All Super Series. Now, we're going to go to a short break. Stay tuned.